Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. This is Ryan Staley, your host, and I have Kurt Daniel on. Kurt is a software and SaaS executive with experience at Microsoft, Parallels, Worklight, which was acquired by IBM, and MongoDB. He helped build, lead, and scale 3 startups now worth $35 billion. Not with an M, with a B, billion. He's currently the CEO at Ubersmith, which is a growing and profitable provider of subscription management for the cloud, including turnkey subscription building, monitoring, ticketing, and more. He's also an independent board member and advisor with experience at CodeClimate, Ivex, Klug, which was acquired by Facebook, Lightyear, QuickSave, Rainsphere, Wonderflow, and others. Kurt, happy to have you on the show, man. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Ryan.
What would you say is the single most important thing when trying to go from 0 to 1 million in revenue?
0 to 1 million. Yeah, it's. I mean, the team's pretty small typically, so it's a small team. You need to kind of trust each other, and you're working hard, and you hopefully have identified the customer pain, and you have some sort of solution, whether it's an MVP and a plus or minus. And so it's really you're in the trenches, and unless you get lucky, which occasionally happens, but you can't count on. It's usually hard work, and there's uncertainty, and there's some risk, and it's just really just innovating, focusing on the customers, and if you don't have something that's a hit right away, finding it as quickly as possible, or turning, or kind of switching a little bit, or even doing like a big pivot, like Slack did, or others, which are famous for. Even Mongo had to do a pivot where they were building all this stuff, but then they decided to just focus on the database, where customers were really interested in that one piece primarily. Worklight, we did multiple pivots. So yeah, I'd say if it's one word, it's probably going to be a pivot, unless you get lucky. But hopefully you get lucky. And it's a very exciting time, but it can be extremely difficult. And I've been involved with obviously multiple companies that have gone through that, and it's different every single time. So it's unpredictable. It's different. Get help from other people, and don't try to do it all by yourself or in your own head, especially with your team. Be very kind of open with them and share the challenges, and they'll hopefully help you as the founder or CEO get there faster.
What's the biggest mistake you see founders make at that stage?
So many. The biggest one I've personally seen that's been the most painful is they build way too much. So they just try to build way too much. I saw a startup recently that wanted to build like 4 or 5 applications and a platform.
Wow.
Usually you're supposed to build an application and then maybe build a platform later. But they want to build the platform and the application and actually these other applications. I'm like, you really need to pick one. I don't care which one it is. Your customers probably do, so you should ask them, but validate it. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I see. The other one is just not having a good kind of maybe go to market idea just early on. So it's about the 0 to 1 million and before. It's about the MVP and the customer pain and the solution, but it's also about finding people to actually talk to about that, to then get that adoption. So some founders are really natural about this. They already know dozens of startup friends who are already willing to kind of give feedback, sign up for the MVP and the early list and that kind of thing. And those startups tend to do pretty well. And so, yeah, really thinking about that go to market really early on is, I think, something that's missed a lot as well. But I would say the biggest thing is building too much.
But what would you think? What do you think is the best go to market strategy? Is it sales? Is it product led? Sales led? Is it marketing led?
That's a great question. I think it maybe depends on the space you're in, and it depends on your team, who you have on your team. Although you can, if you decide your strategy is different, you can obviously hire people who are better at one or the other. My personal choice, which is actually kind of the market's kind of has been moving this way, which is kind of convenient and nice for me. But I personally like product and marketing led. And I don't see people really talk about it that way. So obviously there's product led growth. And even I feel a little bit weird when I say that, but it's just helpful because other people say it that way. But I'm not trying to use overused words, but it's maybe starting to become overused. But product led growth, and then I like marketing led growth. And then obviously there's sales-led growth as well. But I like starting with product and the pricing, which is part of the product, and then the go-to-market, the marketing. Like how are you actually going to get the word out there from a bottoms-up kind of freemium or open source strategy, if that's appropriate, or content or whatever it is. But I like product and marketing led. If I'm allowed to choose two, if I'm allowed to only choose one, I'll take product led growth, and we'll build around that because that's what you're starting with in terms of customer pain and customer solution. But if you allow it, Ryan, this one time at least, I would like product and marketing led, and then everybody else at the company supports growth. Everyone, support reps who are getting feedback from customers or prospects who can help us improve the solution, super fast because we listened and we cared and we put the work in to get it to the right person at the company, who can act on that super important feedback or insight. So yeah, it's a product and marketing led growth, but the whole company being part of it and not just the only focus being on product or marketing.
Where can people find you? Where can they find out more about you, about Ubersmith, and kind of what you're doing right now?
Sure. I'm on Twitter, so it's Kurt O. Daniel, KurtODaniel, and our website is ubersmith.com, and in other places as well. But those are the two best ones, and love to meet new people, follow new people, and get exposure to their ideas as well. So thanks for asking.
Excellent. Yeah, man. It was a pleasure having you on the show. I just love your depth of experience across a lot of different areas. Brought some really amazing insights to the show. So thank you for being on, man. It was a pleasure getting a chance to chop it up with you.
Thanks, Ryan. Loved it, and have a great day.